on, beautiful people? Happy Saturday. Cheers. Salud. Whatever you say. Sipping on a nice glass of some nice bourbon. Buffalo. It's called Buffalo Trace. Shout out to the Whiskey Ginger Pod, aka crap. What's his name? Fuck, I'm blanking on his name. Hold on a second. I'm gonna think of his name. Andrew no. Yeah, Andrew Santino. Yeah, duh. Why couldn't I think of that? But shout out to him. He kept plugging it in his pod, and I was like, I got to try this. It's been my go-to bourbon that I drink when I'm drinking. So, shout out. How's everyone's week going? We just had for those of I can't even talk. For those of those keeping track at home, there's a big WandaVision finale, and it's been a bit controversial. A lot of people, a lot of fans were underwhelmed by it, but they didn't say it was necessarily bad. So I'm curious to hear anyone out there listening, their thoughts on it. I thought it was a phenomenal finale, but I definitely understand why it could be a bit underwhelming. I mean, the whole Quicksilver, Pietro, fake Pietro, that, they played it off as a joke. His name was Ralph Boner, which, ha ha ha. But everyone was hoping that he'd be from the multiverse, because he plays Quicksilver in the X-Men movies. But there's a lot of good stuff that happened. The Vision on Vision moments and fight was awesome. Well, spoiler warning, if you haven't seen the episode, skip ahead to when this episode actually starts. We're just waiting on my man Jordan. But and the book of Thesis, that was incredible. And but anyways, the whole Quicksilver thing, I think, not that we need any more theories out there, I think he was named Ralph because when you're a missing person, your identity isn't revealed. They kind of give you a fake name. And there's in episode 3, it was 3. I don't know. It was revealed that Jimmy Woo was going to Westview, New Jersey, to investigate a missing persons case, and that could be him because he's gone missing, and Ralph could have been his fake name. I think there's going to be bigger payoff to that down the line. Just they weren't going to throw that in this show. It was more of a tease because it's Wanda and Vision show. But the big Scarlet Witch reveal was awesome. Super cool. Her going full Scarlet Witch in her costume was just amazing. Yeah, it just was pretty just I was satisfied with it, but part of me was slightly disappointed. I would have loved to see, I hope I don't mess this up back here, but I would have loved to see the good old Doctor Strange make an appearance because Wanda is going to be in his movie, but you can't get everything you wish for. There's a lot of big theories that like the X-Men were going to join because in the comics, Wanda is a mutant, but they didn't even talk about that. I think Marvel has their own plans for that series and show. So that's not really a thing at the moment. Yeah, I thought the show was super well done. I am extremely excited to see where everything goes, just because the MCU is awesome. Their storytelling and the way now they have all their characters, in one universe. It's going to be very exciting and to see kind of what happens. But overall, I thought it was a good show. I can't wait to go back and watch it all the way through instead of having to wait week to week per one episode. But there's new comic book projects to look forward to, so I just enjoy it for what it is. I have my theories, but I don't get too attached. I'm excited for Zack Snyder's Justice League and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. lots to look forward to. Lots and lots of things to look forward to. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. A lot of talk around the WandaVision finale, so I thought I'd bring it up. NBA All-Star Weekend as well. Not really too excited about it for various reasons. It just, there's no fans, and or maybe there's limited fans, but like it's just doesn't feel the same. And I respect them for trying to do it, but yeah, it is what it is. Okay, so our guest is ready and he's here. So today on the RPD show, I'm talking with my friend Jordan Griffin, who is a sponsored skateboarder and the creator of Griff Gang Worldwide. He's a music artist, and he currently resides he's from Doylestown, Pennsylvania. I hope I said that right. He's a graphic design student at Rider University. He's just a hustler, and he's dope dude. We've been going back and forth in DMs for a while, and I'm like, hey, come on the show, man. And we're like, hell yeah, let's do it. Now we're here, but I'm gonna let him in. Yeah. Everybody, please welcome Jordan Griffin to the RPD show. What up? What up? Oh, by the way, I forgot to message it. Shout out to Dylan, my man Dylan Height, for the beat drop. He goes by the name Hiding in Headstones. Go check out his music, but he's the homie. So anyways, we're going to get into the episode. Boom. Well, Jordan, thanks for coming on the show today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to be here. As I was kind of saying on the intro, was we've been going back and forth on DMs for a while, just chopping it up, and you've shown love to the show, for kind of since the beginning, I would say. And I thought it was only right to bring you on. I see what you're doing, and it's
awesome.
Why not have you on?
Sick. Well, it's a big opportunity for me, so thank you again.
Hey, no problem, man. Getting into it. So you're a sponsored skateboarder. Like, yep. I've seen a lot of your content. For the record, I tried skating when I was younger because I was super into it, but I just figured out it was not my thing. So I guess I kind of gave up. I like basketball, sports and all that. So I give you your roses and kudos and all that for being dope at what you do. But I guess kind of talk about how you got into that, I guess, or like what made you what inspired you to get going, with skateboarding and all that.
Damn, I was kind of the opposite. So when I was in elementary school, I liked playing basketball, but then I realized like team sports weren't for me. I wanted to try something else, and me and my friends growing up, we would play like the Tony Hawk Pro Skateboarder games, and this is back when I was in like 4th or 5th grade. So I started picking up a skateboard like the summer of 5th grade, and I couldn't get off it ever since. So I would say the Tony Hawk video games inspired me, but I also thought I would just be able to stand on a board and with the press of a button, just be able to do a bunch of tricks, but it's not that easy. So I've been doing this for like 11 years and I'm still learning tricks to this day.
Wow. I think that's so dope that the Tony Hawk game inspired you. I used to play that as a kid, and it's fun, but as you said, it's way harder than just pressing a button.
Yeah.
So if you've been doing it for 11 years, how old are you now? Because I know you're in college, right?
Yeah, I am 21.
Okay, wow. Making me feel old over here. No, we're both still very young. I'm 26, but it's so that's basically like half your life though. So what would you say were like your early struggles with? Was it just getting a feel for being on a board, or just the trick? Because I feel like it's a very tedious process, right?
It's tedious, but I think everybody goes about it in a different way. For me, all I wanted to do was be able to ollie, because I'm like, if I could take my skateboard and get onto things and do tricks after that, that'd be cool. But all I want to do is just do a basic ollie, which is just like jumping with your board. So I only worked on ollieing for like a year and a half. I had like no other goal in my head. And like it paid off now, because like I guess I could ollie as high as I could jump. It's all just timing. but since I really spent a lot of time on the fundamental, now it's a lot easier to be like, well, I want to flip my board this way or that way because I have a lot more hang time. So I feel like I used all that focus on the basic tricks, and then from there, it just made everything a lot easier.
So starting from, I mean, that makes sense, I guess. Doing
Yeah.
starting off very simple and then working your way up, I guess. I mean, but for those that have tried skating or don't know anything about, I mean, getting an ollie down is really hard because
Yeah.
there's so much balance and just being comfortable with going in the air like that. So
Yeah, I mean, it definitely takes time to even get comfortable, like standing on your board and riding around and like feeling like you're not gonna fall just like when you push. But no, it takes time, but with time it comes practice, and practice makes perfect, and we can never be perfect, but hey, we could try.
absolutely. I mean, try, going for perfection and then not quite reaching it. That's still pretty good because obviously we're not perfect as humans. So,
Yeah.
that's really cool and interesting. I mean, skateboarding, I feel like, is not something that, I mean, it's a popular thing, but it's not something that you come across every day where, like, you'd say they're sponsored or they do it professionally. At what, um, I guess after, a year in, what, I guess, kept you going, whereas like, I want to keep pursuing this. Was it when like the first sponsorship came in, or is it just like the love of the craft, I guess?
No, so I've always wanted to be sponsored and like turn pro, but that was never like what made me keep doing it. I think I like it because it's a real physical and mental challenge. I like to tell people that like getting your fundamentals down in skating is like the physical part, but then after that, it's pretty much all mental. Like there's a bunch of mental roadblocks and stuff like that. So I just say like if you could really get out of your own head, you could do anything. And just skating alone, it got me to think in a more creative mindset. And I feel like it just helped me grow as a person. So I think that's what keeps me going. The challenge of like always trying to one up yourself. I feel like I'm my own contest.
I dig that. I think it's it seems like from what you described, it's much more of a mental sport than I mean, not that it doesn't take physical skill, but it's because I feel like you got to have that will and determination to kind of keep going when, because I'm sure it's very frustrating when you're practicing this trick or over and over and over again, and it's just not landing, and you're just like, damn it, like, I'm
Yeah,
done,
yeah, it
right?
could definitely be like that. It's just it's challenging because sometimes you could work on dialing a trick down and it could be easy that day, but then the next day when you have to go get it on film to send to like your sponsor, it could be like a couple hours where you're just falling downstairs, just hoping you land one. But at the end of the day, it just comes from confidence. And a lot of times, like I feel like personally, I don't get too angry when I skate. I'm just like, oh, it's not working out today. But like, if I ever do get a little frustrated, I feel like it's not the skating that makes me that way. It's like if I'm just having a bad day, all that built up stress or something could lead me to be frustrated, but it's never skating itself.
Okay, I think that's a good perspective to have, and I'm sure it's part of the reason why you've made it, so far. Talk about potentially fall. Have you had any like major injuries or like scares out there? I'm sure, but
Um,
or
that's a
like
tough one.
or just like close calls, I guess. I mean, because I don't know. I mean, I'm not super familiar with the sport, but it seems that there's an occasional wipeout from here and there. But I guess it just depends on how you skate. You know, like
Yeah, so I'm always falling, but I haven't had too many bad accidents, knock on wood. But I feel like the two that really stick out to me is, well, the first one, I was trying to film this. It was like an ender for one of my video parts. So that's supposed to be like your biggest and hardest trick to end the video on like a great note to have a bunch of people talk about it. And it was this giant like stair set, and it was just so big and it was so much impact, and the ground was super rough, so it would just like tear you apart. So my hands were already like super like scraped up and I was bleeding everywhere, and I'm just throwing myself down this, and I ended up like spraining my ankle and my wrist. And I've just like hated that spot ever since. I did go back like 2 or 3 years later and I landed the same trick on that spot. So that was just like, it felt good to get that off my chest. But the other one, that's actually a funny story. I went to a local park and I decided I would warm up on the benches, and I was probably like 15. I was kind of stupid. I was eating a Wawa hoagie and
Nice.
warming up at the same time. That wasn't a good combo. The benches at the park are like a recycled plastic, so they're super slippery, and I missed locking in on the bench. So I fell backwards, but when I fell back, both of my shins like hit the top of the table, and then I tried to roll out of it, and both of my shins hit the bottom of the table. And I was on the ground and my friend tried to help me up. And I'm like, I just kind of want to lay here. And I don't know what made me think this, but I looked down at my pant leg and I saw it was like red everywhere. And I'm like, wow, like I'm skating picnic tables. I must have fell in someone's like raspberries or strawberries or something. Like it didn't occur to me that like I could be bleeding because I just fell so hard. And then it hit me. I'm like, yeah, I should probably like see if anything's wrong. So I ended up having to get like 12 stitches on my shin.
Holy heck.
So that was like within the first 5 minutes of getting to the spot too. So that was a sad day. Like I was young and I remember being in the car like on the way to the ER, and I started crying my eyes out just for the fact that I wouldn't be able to skate for the next like month or two. I was so disappointed in that because I try to skate as much as I can, but like it hurt obviously, but like it hurt me more knowing that I would have to take a break from skating.
I bet. I mean, how long were you out with after the stitches?
It was only like a month or two. It wasn't anything like crazy. I haven't had any like broken bones or anything like that, luckily.
That's good to hear. I mean, but I
Yeah.
bet that those those 1 to 2 months really like killed you inside, right? Like it's like, damn, I can't get out there
Yeah.
and
I mean,
practice.
I really didn't know what to do. And I don't even think at that age I had music to go to. So it's like I don't even know what I did. Now I would just like work on music and then get back to skating.
Very cool. Yeah, we'll get into the music stuff here in a bit, but this whole skateboarding topic, I'm just kind of fascinated with, just because
Got you.
I'm so unfamiliar. It's
Yeah.
um I guess my next question with that I have for you with skateboarding is, you said it's very much a mental sport. Do you I'm assuming mental health plays a big role into how you perform, right? If you're not, or even like when you practice, right? If you're not really feeling too hot, you know, I'm sure it's like way harder versus like when you're in good spirits, right?
Yeah, for sure. I always try to have a positive outlook on everything, and I try to skate in communities that like accept everybody and just make you feel good. Because like there's sometimes where I go skate like the city and like the vibe isn't there. I feel like I judge a location off of the vibe I'm getting, and that's what tells me like how to skate. So my local park in Warminster, I go there all the time just because I love the community there. Like everyone's super nice and they always try to help each other, and like they cheer each other on all the time. And it's just good to be around that. So I feel like when I do skate there, I kind of get on a roll and I could just keep going and I could keep landing more tricks. But no, skating's weird because I feel like in general, like the community of skateboarders could be super judgmental at first until you get to know them. So you kind of have to like gain respect from everybody, and then everyone's chilling.
That makes sense. I think it's important to have, a good community around you, just to make it easier and to keep the good times rolling.
Yeah.
Uh, what would so like I'm curious about the sponsorship thing. So it's like you mentioned that it's video based, right? Because like they use the footage, or I guess it kind
Yeah.
of explain how
So,
that works in a sense.
um,
I mean, I have no idea.
hmm, I'm trying to think of how to explain it because I guess there's like different forms. So I guess I'll just start from the beginning. So my first sponsors, it was just like they would send me some product here and there. And in return, I just had to like shout them out on social media and just like wear their stuff in contests and stuff like that. But I would say as of like the last 3 to 4 years, I started getting like bigger name sponsors, and bigger companies have bigger budgets. So it's easier to get like paid work from them, whether that's content creation or just like getting paid to put out a video part. Um, it's more like consistent product. Like it could be like monthly boxes of skateboards and stuff like that, just to keep me rolling. But sponsorships are super cool because you get like included with like a team of people who normally you would look up to. Because in my head it's like, why would you want to be on a team where you don't actually enjoy watching their team to begin with? So it's kind of cool because some companies it's like, I've been sending footage to for 5 years. So for them to finally be like, hey, we love what you do, like, can we please send you a box and see what we could get going? It's just like a good feeling for me. But I feel like there's always something to work towards. And it's always been like my dream to get sponsored. I didn't know if it would happen, but it happened, and I can't be any more happy than I am. I'm super grateful for that.
Well, that's amazing, man. I'm really glad that it worked out for you, and I think it's really cool that it's kind of kept you along on that journey.
Yeah.
So that's awesome to hear. Good for you, man. That's super cool. I mean, that's not many people, are able to get into that position. So really good stuff. So you're currently enrolled at Rider University, and you specialize in graphic design.
Yeah.
Um, or you're majoring like in graphic design. Do you have like previous experience with graphic design, or is that something do you do that as well? Because um, on top, you're kind of a jack of all trades. Like on top of that, you're a music artist, which I think is cool, and as well. And then you just started up Griff Gang, and I almost said Griff Gang Worldwide, right? Your clothing line,
Yeah.
which is super cool. Like, dude, you're doing so many different things. Like that's great.
Thank you. Yeah. So I feel like I've been into graphic design my whole life, but I really didn't find like the passion for it until I took an engineering class in high school. I don't know how this applies to engineering like directly, but there was a unit where we had to design a logo, and then we had to print it out on a vinyl cutter, and like if we wanted to, we could make a sticker. But I wanted to do a shirt, so I used like the heat press and like made a shirt. And then I found out like I knew how to use the program and like navigate it pretty well. So I just had a bunch of logos done. And the next week I brought in like a whole stack of clothes and made like my whole clothing line and stuff like that, like in class. And I'm like, this is fun. And at the time, I just called my brand Jag because like those are my initials. But I think it was like later that year in the same class, I sat down with my cousin, and I'm like, I feel like people would want to buy this stuff. I just have to like rebrand it. And I was going over like names onto like what to call the fan base I was building. And my cousin's like, easy, Griff Gang. And I thought of that name before. I'm like, nah, it's kind of cheesy. And he's like, it's only cheesy if you make it cheesy. I'm like, you have a point. It kind of has a good ring to it. So now I'm doing that stuff. I got the hat on right now.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so that just kind of inspired everything. And for Christmas, like the next year, my family got us like a family like vinyl cutter and heat press. So I actually press all my own merch and design everything like in my room.
Oh,
So
that's so cool. Wow.
yeah, so I've been doing this stuff for a minute, but I feel like in the last year or two, I really dove into doing like song artwork, album artwork, playlist covers, and flyers and all that stuff for music artists and stuff like that. So I'm really trying to expand my portfolio there and just see where it takes me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the more avenues you can go down, the more it will only expand your network, and the who knows what it may lead to. Just the more skills you can offer, the better. Really, I mean, shoot. But that pressing your own merch and like that's so cool. Like,
Thank you.
I think that's so cool. Like that. I mean, shoot. Maybe we got to talk. I've been wanting to do merch, and
Let's do it.
so we might have to have a conversation after this.
Sounds good.
Especially since you have graphic design experience. It's pretty, would be, yeah, that's a conversation for off the record, I guess.
Sounds good.
So the graphic design and then creating your own brand, did that kind of transition into like releasing your own music? Or is that just like something that you thought like, I don't know, and then you got good feedback and you kept it, like, what made you get into music as well? I mean,
I don't know. It's a tough question. I had one sponsor a couple years ago. They paid for me to go on a trip to North Carolina to skate with one of the teammates on the company. But there was also a rapper friend of mine down there, and he wanted me to hop on this song. And I've never rapped before in my life. Like growing up, I used to always like write songs. I just never rapped them or sang them or did anything with them. I didn't know how. And yeah, so I did that, and I'm like, that was like really fun. And like I'm friends with a bunch of people who do music, and there was one day where Andrew Miore came over. He goes by No Love for the Middle Child.
yeah,
And
I know him. He's the homie. Good guy.
yeah. So one day he was dropping off concert tickets. I was showing him how to skate, and I'm like, dude, like I wish I made music. Like you guys all inspire me to start. I just don't know where to begin. He's like, step one is you just gotta go for it. And as soon as he said that, I'm like, maybe he's right. So I bought like a $100 mic on Amazon soon after that. And I just started rapping my little heart out. And it wasn't very good, but I was putting out content on SoundCloud. And then my friend Alex Catchambone, he really like mentored me and helped me dial in like a better sound, and he helped me just become like more professional with it. So I feel like it kind of just happened naturally. It wasn't like today I'm gonna be an artist and this is gonna go down like that. Like I've been wanting to do it for a while, and I feel like when the time was right, I just made it happen. Growing up, I was super shy, so I never thought I would be able to like use my voice on something. I always hated my voice. So I'm like, why would I ever record music if I don't even like the way I sound when I talk? But it's kind of different.
That is, it's not like, but I respect that, man. Like that's really cool. Like to just go for it, like out of the blue like that. Like that's kind of how this podcast started. I've been wanting to do it forever, but I was afraid. Like I truly was afraid to just like put myself out there and be vulnerable,
Yeah.
It's a difficult position to be in, because then the content you put out, as you know, it's like open for criticism. People can just say what they want to you online, and that's the
Oh, yeah.
negative stuff is not really great, but and it's just like a, you know, a weird feeling to get over. So, I mean, I definitely relate to your hesitation to do it. Cause I mean,
Oh yeah,
growing
no,
up,
the
I was,
criticism sucks.
it does. And I mean, I was kind of shy growing up. So it's like the fact that I talk with people and have, you know, do this, it's kind of like weird sort of to me. Like people are like, oh dude, I love the shit. I'm like, really? Like, I still kind of think like like I'm okay at it, but like, it's just fun for me. So it's like, I do it. So
Yeah, you're doing your thing. And if you're having fun, that's what
yeah,
matters. Because at the end of the day, if people make fun of you for having fun, they just kind of sound stupid themselves because they're just complaining over other people living their life and doing what they want to do.
exactly. And for the record, no one has made fun of me, or I haven't really received any negative feedback. Everyone's been super nice and positive. You know, either
That's
they
awesome.
checked out one episode or they're like a constant listener. So, but you know, that comes when that'll come when, you know, you expand the audience. You know, when you're talking to thousands of people instead of hundreds or whatever, or even whatever the number is. You know,
Yeah,
there's always that small pocket of just like people where it's like, oh, this sucks, or like, why'd you have that? You know, but I'm ready for it. But you know, one step at a time. So anyways, I think it's like just you going for it without any like expectation and whatnot. I think is great. So
thank you.
keep it going, man. You know, I you know, I did my homework a little bit. You have a new single actually coming out next week, right? Or this coming
Yeah,
out on Friday.
yeah. So I'm super stoked on this. I feel like in the past I started out just like rapping over trap beats that my homie from high school would send me. And I'm like, this music doesn't really like make me happy. I'm not enjoying my own music. And I feel like that's a big part. So when I started hitting up different producers to work with, um, I decided to try to sing a little bit. I never thought I had it in me because I was like the one kid in choir class who would always like fake sing. I would just like lip sync everything and I just got through it because I was scared to make a noise. I'm like, I can't sing. So I worked on that and I started dropping more like poppier music. And for the past like year and a half, I've been working on like this like alternative like pop punk kind of project. And I noticed like a lot of people are starting to do that now. And I'm like, damn, like I've been working on this for so long. Like that's crazy that people are doing this. Like maybe I picked like a good lane to take this album in. But the first single to that album comes out this Friday. It's called Sorry Not Sorry and is featuring my homie Justin Gabriel. And this is like my first like real music video and it's just a pop punk anthem. So I'm super stoked for everybody to hear it. Hopefully people enjoy it, but if not, I'm just doing me.
Hey, that's the right attitude to have. You know, just have no expectation and, you know,
Yeah.
see where it goes. But that's exciting. I'm excited. I'm definitely gonna check it out, man. But what I guess kind of what is there any musical artists? Are there any artists? What am I saying? Are there any artists out there, or like bands or influences that you had while like, you know, doing this pop punk music, or just starting out in general, or friends? Like who do you, I guess, look up to or like listen to that like really made you want to get into it?
Damn, I don't know, cause I just started making different kinds of music in my dorm room. I had like a ratchet setup. I had like a little isolation booth thing, and I sat that on top of my microwave. And I remember, I think it was like the first song I did for the album. I was supposed to be like writing a paper for one of my classes, and I just came up with this melody, and I'm like, I gotta record this like right now. So I just kind of made acoustic music. So there's like a little acoustic section on the album. So I made that at first. So I didn't really have any inspiration when I was making those couple songs. And then like MGK and Mod Sun, Ian Dior, all of them just started like popping up on my Spotify. I'm like, this is actually super good. Like I always listen to like underground rap music. and I never really listened to band music growing up, but I feel like Blink and All Time Low and like those kind of groups inspired like the more recent songs I've done on the album. But yeah, it's kind of weird because I never really like listened to that kind of music before I started making the album. I kind of made the album and then like listened to music after I already recorded half of it. So
That's an interesting process.
yeah.
Like it's kind of like the reverse version of, I guess, how people normally do it, but that's interesting. What you mentioned, the underground rap scene, who, like, what type of rap, like, who do you listen to? Would you normally listen
Um I listen to a lot of like Futuristic and Whit Lowry and who else? I'm going blank right now. I can't think of anybody. I feel like those are my top two rappers, but Alex Catronbone, he's one of my favorites. He's a good friend of mine. Um, yeah, so I just listen to people who still had like a big following, but they weren't like mainstream. For whatever reason, I like didn't want to give in to listen to all the popular music that everyday people would listen to. I just didn't want to like fit in that aspect, I guess. I wanted to find people who were trying to make it and help build them up, because I feel like you got to support local artists and people really trying to grind on the come up.
Absolutely. I think that's really cool. That's kind of how I got started in music and all that, just like listening to underground guys and just like, oh, there's like more out there than like, Drake and Lil Wayne and those types, like the mainstream guys. So
Yeah.
that's really cool stuff, man. That's dope. Good. A lot of talented artists out there. So I think it's good to expand your
Oh yeah.
horizons.
No, in the past couple years, I feel like my music taste has like expanded in like a crazy amount, because like before it was like only like the super lyrical rap and stuff like that, and then it went to like the sad emotional rap, and then it went more to pop music. I'm not really listening to rap too much, and now it's like pop punk acoustic stuff. So I feel like being exposed to all that different music has like affected me in a creative way, where I could put that creativity into new designs or skating or my own music or something like that. So I feel like just expanding my horizons just helped me think of more ideas and stuff like that. So it really helped benefit me.
Absolutely. It never hurts to expand your horizons. I mean, I think it's good to, hear it all, because then you can kind of make your own, take in what you'll take in. And then when you create, it will kind of come out, based on what you
Yeah.
heard. So, I mean, I was the same way. I mean, I used to, rap music was like my first musical, like music that I really loved. And then then I slowly expanded my horizons and saw what's out there. And there's just a lot of good stuff. I mean, I guess just what catches your ear catches your ear. That's what's so great about music. It's not, um, it's not subjective. It's very of opinion. It's not something that, is right or wrong. It's, I guess that's what kind of makes it like a unique industry, where it's like one person can say this song's bad, but then like the other's like, oh, that's my favorite song. You know what I mean? It's just
Oh
like a
yeah.
weird balance.
No, it's so weird. And even when I drop my own music, like I guess if I really didn't like a song, I wouldn't put it out. Or like if I really didn't like a song on a project, I would just kind of like take that out. I've done that a lot, but like I still have like album favorites and like my least favorites on my own stuff that I make. And it's weird that my least favorite song could be someone's favorite song, and like they play it every day and they're always like, yo, like this is so good. I'm like, thank you. Like I didn't think anybody else would like this, especially more than me.
Yeah, exactly. It's a weird thing. Do you, like, outside of everything that you do, I guess it's a better way to say it, do you have any like other interests? Like, are you into like sports? Do you watch sports, or do you like movies, or like what do you do, I guess, in your free time if you have free time?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't really have free time. I guess I just like going on little hikes and stuff like that. Um, I like going on road trips too. I haven't traveled that much. So as soon as COVID calms down a little bit, my goal is definitely to travel more because, well, I'm out here in Pennsylvania, but I've only really been to like New Jersey and Florida a couple times, but like I gotta go to like the West Coast and stuff like that just to try it out.
Absolutely. Are you closer to like like what part of PA are you, like
Um,
where would it be considered?
I'm in Doylestown, so I'm like 35 minutes away from New Jersey, but I'm also like 40 minutes from Philly.
Okay, so you're
So yeah, it's at a good location. And I go to school in Jersey and I have to commute there. So it's only like 45 minutes away. So it's
that's
not bad. I'm
yeah.
always in Jersey.
You should definitely get out to the West Coast though. Once the world is not weird. It's
Yeah.
I feel like, have you ever been out to like California or Arizona or?
No, so I want to go to both those places soon. I think at the end of April, I'm going out to Colorado. That's gonna be like
It's another good spot.
my first like real plane ride like by myself. So that's gonna be super cool. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's something to look forward to. I mean, um, that Colorado is a great place. That's another. I would say like my favorite places out west are like California, Arizona. I like Salt Lake City, Utah. That's a great,
Yeah, I
I
have
think,
to get
area.
over there.
And then Colorado is just awesome. Like I've had nothing but good experiences wherever I've been in Colorado. So,
Awesome. That's good to hear.
yeah. So I mean, if you ever, we'll definitely have to, stay in touch, and might, I'll toss you some recommendations if you're looking for any. Um, that's cool though. I guess this is kind of the part of the program where I kind of call it closing thoughts, where it's like you get to kind of say like um, a message or like plug whatever you want to plug, and then we kind of end the show, I guess, that way. I don't know. It's just like kind of what I like to do. So I guess, um, what are your closing thoughts when it comes to what do you got for me, if anything? You can just say,
That's a
hey, follow me
tough
on IG.
question. I am on the spot right now.
Oh, didn't mean to put pressure on you.
No, you're good. I just want to tell the people listening or watching to do what they love. I feel like a lot of people think you could only go one direction in life and you have to like stick to that because that's kind of like the social norm. But I feel like I've always been an outcast and like not in like a bad way. Like I feel like I always tried to like make my own path and really do what I want to do. And if you stick to that, like it can and it will pay off. And I highly recommend just following your head, following your heart, and doing what you love. And always have a positive mindset. And yeah, anybody, if you're listening, you could always hit me up for advice or anything like that. Um, my Instagram and all my socials actually are at jgriff830, jgriff830.
Well, dude, that was a really powerful, way to end the show. I really, I appreciate that perspective, and I'm sure anyone out there listening will definitely. Jordan, this was fun. If you liked the episode, please go toss him a follow on Instagram, Twitter, whatever social media you use, or just shoot him a message and say you enjoyed the episode. That would mean a lot to him. But I can't thank you. I can't thank you enough for coming on and chatting with me tonight. That means a lot, and I'm glad we really got to do this.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. I haven't done too many podcasts, so this is a super cool opportunity. Definitely want to remember. And once it's out, I'll post it up on my Instagram and everything for you.
I
And
Man, I
yeah,
appreciate that a lot. But hey, I mean, it's a good way to start, just start doing them. And then people, I guess, people will see that you're, I guess, down to do interviews, or I mean, I guess it depends. And they may just reach out and be like, hey, like, I saw that one. You want to come on the show? And it's like, yeah, sure, man. It's
Yep.
cool. So regardless though, I appreciate it. You're really cool for doing this. And yeah, we'll definitely stay in touch. And I'm looking forward to hearing your new single on Friday. Go check that out too if you're listening.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a movie.
Hell yeah. Well, appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming on the show. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.